Welcome to the second week of this massive open online course on PL/SQL fundamentals. You are viewing the fourth video of this week, Conditional Programming with PL/SQL. To mark the completion of 10 years in the industry, Jill's organization decides to announce a one-time bonus to all its employees. All of the employees working in the company since its inception will get 50% of their pay as bonus. Those employees who have been with the company for more than 5 years are eligible to get 25% of their pay as bonus. And all the remaining employees are entitled for a 10% of their pay as bonus. It is Jill's responsibility to calculate the varying bonus entitlements and update the details in the HR database. To achieve this, Jill can use the conditional programming constructs available in PL/SQL. Shall we try to help Jill in her task by using different conditional statements supported by PL/SQL? You can change the logical flow of statements within a PL/SQL block with the help of if, then, else and case constructs listed here. Before learning about each of these conditional constructs, let us have a quick refresh of PL/SQL operators. As you know, an operator defines the operation to be performed in an expression. Each operator performs a designated operation as shown in the table here. Based on the type of operation performed, the operators in PL/SQL are categorized as logical, arithmetic, concatenation, parenthesis, and exponential operator. The first four categories of operators perform the same operations as in SQL. Parenthesis is used to control the order of operations. To learn more about PL/SQL operators and their order of execution, refer the link given in the YouTube video description. Now that you know about PL/SQL operators, let us understand an if-then-else conditional statement. As you can see in the flow diagram, a Boolean condition which can return true, false or null is evaluated. If the condition returns true, all the statements following the then clause are executed. Whereas, if the condition returns either false or null, all the statements following the else clause are executed. The statements following the then or else clause can include additional if, else and else-if statements. You will learn about else-if clause in the next section. Let us address the requirement of calculating bonuses based on service period using if, then, else statements. Notice how the if and else statements are used to decide the bonus percentage for an employee based on the value of the service period. Did you notice another if statement coded after the else clause of the original if statement? This is required to cover all the bonus categories for calculating the varying bonus entitlements. Let us understand how this program is executed by PL/SQL. The program evaluates the condition when it encounters the first if condition. It returns false because the v_service_period variable is initialized to 3. So, the control passes to the corresponding else block. It encounters another if condition here and evaluates the condition. This condition also returns false because the v_service_period variable does not have a value between 5 and 10. Therefore, the control passes to the corresponding else block. It executes the PL/SQL expression to calculate the value of the v_bonus variable as 10% of v_salary and prints the value. Let's execute this code and see the results. Because the employee referred in this example has been working for 3 years in this organization, he is entitled to get only 10% of his pay as the bonus amount. Suppose the organization decides on a different policy for bonus as per the table shown on the screen. Just imagine how many conditions have to be evaluated to meet this requirement. You have to write an if condition for each row of this table, isn't it? Don't you think it gets too complicated with so many nested if statements? To simplify such situations where more than 3 conditions are to be evaluated, we can use if-ELSIF statements. Instead of writing another if statement within an else statement, you can simply use the else-if clause. Notice how simple it looks compared to the if-then-else statements. Observe how the previously coded PL/SQL block to calculate the bonus of an employee is modified to use the else-if clause. The nested if-then-else block in the earlier example is now replaced with an else-if clause. Also, A single end-if clause is used to terminate the if-ELSIF statement. Even though the code looks much simpler now, the entire logic and the flow of execution remains the same. Execute the code and see the results. Observe that the results remain unaltered and the bonus amount is calculated as expected. Until now, we only examined a case where the bonus is decided based on a single criterion, that is, the employee's service period. Just assume that the organization wants to pay the one-time bonus only to sales representatives. Do we have to write separate if conditions to check the service period and the job title of the employee? No. You can relate multiple conditional expressions in an if statement through logical operators such as and, or, and not. In this scenario, you can modify the if and else if conditions as shown on the screen using the and operator. As you already know, and returns a true only when both the conditions return true, and it returns a false otherwise. Note that you can have any number of conditional expressions for a single if statement. However, you must relate these statements with appropriate logical operators. Can you identify the change in this code? Yes, the variable v underscore service underscore period is declared but not initialized. It means that this variable is null. Can you guess how the conditions are resolved with service period being null? Let's execute it and see. Whenever the value being evaluated in an if or else if condition is null, the control goes to the subsequent else if or else clause. Therefore, the value of service period is not displayed in the output window. PL/SQL also provides case expressions and case statements to write conditional logic. A case expression selects a result and returns it. To select the result, the case expression evaluates the expressions in the when clause. The value returned by these expressions is used to select one of the several alternatives. This is an example of implementing conditional logic using a case expression. V underscore service underscore period is the selector, and 10, 9, 8 and so on following each when clause are the expressions. Based on the value of the v underscore service underscore period variable, the control goes to the corresponding when clause and executes the statements following it. When the value of the v underscore service underscore period variable does not match with any of the when clauses, the statements following the else clause gets executed. In this example, you would have observed that a when clause is specifically coded for each value of service period. Even though bonus is same for a range of service period values from 9 to 5 years, we have to specify each value explicitly. To help us in such scenarios where the result for a range of values is same and you do not want to explicitly mention every single value in the range, PL/SQL offers searched case expressions. Unlike a case expression, a searched case expression does not have a single selector. Instead, the when clause contains an expression that results in a Boolean value. The same example is rewritten on the screen to show searched case statements, and notice how simple it looks now. All the related logic is coded under a single when clause specifying a condition which works for a range of values of service period. You end a case expression with end case keywords, whereas a searched case expression is terminated with an end keyword. If you execute this code, you can see that the bonus is calculated as expected. Both the case expression and the searched case expression evaluate a condition and return a value. In contrast to an if-then-else or if-else-if statement, they are not designed to execute a set of statements or business logic based on a condition. However, if you want to use a case structure and still execute a set of statements based on a condition, you can use a case statement. What you are seeing on the screen is a sample code using a case statement. Notice that you can write n number of PL/SQL statements under each when clause. You can write SQL statements to work with database, or even write another PL/SQL block under each when clause if required. Unlike a case expression that evaluates a condition and returns a value, a case statement evaluates a condition and performs an action. To learn more about the syntax of all the conditional constructs discussed so far, please refer the link given in the YouTube video description. In this video, you should have learned to change the logical flow of statements by using if-then-else statement, if-else-if statement, case expression and searched case expression, and case statement. To practice what you learned, solve the assignment posted on OLL course page. Post your questions, if any, in the course forum whose link is shown here. Thank you for watching this video. Have a great day ahead.